Starting five, the Sleepers back after a week and a half hiatus. A week ago at this time, Carter, we were just hitting the driving range and we did not know the chaos that was about to ensue.
Yeah, before we even made a move to the driving range, Greg, I want to be known to everybody, was the very first person to approach the drink cart. The drink cart had not even officially opened yet. They had not hit the ice yet. They hadn't took the caps off the beverages yet. And he set the tone. He was the only person at the driving range with a beverage. Well, excluding me because I had one as well. But, you know, this time last week, we were getting ready to come in second in the KZoo Spartan outing, by the way, which I think is overlooked to this point. Shot a nice little 55 as a brew.
That is a forgotten fact in light of how the afternoon progressed for us. We did take the silver medal home. That's a good thing. I'm wearing a Daddy Brad shirt, as you can see. More to come there, but very soon, people will have a place where you can purchase this Daddy Brad shirt and support me individually. Not shots at you, Cart, but you would not be supported by someone buying a Daddy Brad shirt. Maybe I'm spoiling a little too much.
I'm still not on board with the whole. I will never ever say it out loud. Ever.
I'm gonna get you to say it. I'm gonna get you on my team.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the news. We're gonna do a lot of Michigan stuff today, and then a little passing Michigan State news, an Emoni Bates update, and finally a Skyy Clark update, a long-awaited Skyy Clark update after our last video where we kind of criticized him for a variety of things. Let's start with Michigan, though, Cart. Michigan's in Paris. Their overseas trip kicked off last week. So far, I know they've played one game. I believe they have 2 or 3 more. And Michigan, as a program, is handling this in the dumbest way possible. They're not telling anybody who they're playing, when they're playing them. They're not posting video. It's like they don't want anyone to see anything about this team. It's really frustrating. I don't know why this is happening. I think Jawan is the orchestrator of this, but I don't like it at all as a fan / semi-media member. Very difficult to draw any conclusions from this. However, we did have a box score come to light from game 1. They lost by, I believe, 20-something points to a pretty good pro team who has a bunch of...
A good. I would say good. Like they're good. They're good.
Like proven college veterans and true professional basketball players are on this team. Michigan played everybody. It sounds like it was not like a, hey, we're going to go out and try and win this game. It was a, we're going to play everybody who's healthy type game, 10 plus minutes, get a look at what we got. That said, there were definitely some positives and some negatives from this. We have a few quote unquote John Rothstein level well embedded moles in Paris and around the scene, Cart. We have a certain, well, I had word from 2 people that were in the gym that watched this game. And then I had a third word from a source who I trust tremendously that has ears within the program as far as the coaching staff goes. So I made sure to consult all 3 prior to making this video and draw any conclusions. Okay.
Hashtag
research. Hunter Dickinson, you got to start there with this Michigan team. He's pretty much the heartbeat of it. If they're going to be good, he has to be tremendous this year. Apparently, Hunter Dickinson, by all 3 accounts, just did not give a flying F about this game. Heard that he was just not into it. Heard that he looked like the same exact guy, talented as hell, but like he looked like this was an exhibition scrimmage and couldn't be bothered to care about this game. So I don't think that matters too much, but kind of disappointing to hear like the guy you're hoping is going to do everything is sort of nonchalant about the very first game. The good, Jalen Llewellyn apparently looked great. All 3 of my sources confirmed that he appeared to be a killer. I think he had 17 points. He attempted 7 threes. He had a lot of assists, and he was doing a ton of ball screen playmaking and getting to his spots against these pros. That bodes really well. I was critical of the Llewellyn pickup. Really concerned as soon as they picked him up, like, is he even a ball screen guy? Is he a playmaker? Is he just a spot shooter, high volume shooter type? So sounds like he has passed the first test there and looks pretty dynamic in doing so. Other things to mention, Kobe Buffkin didn't score, only attempted 3 shots, played less minutes than Doug McDaniel off the bench. Doug had some wow moments, some swing for the fences, quote unquote moments from one of the people who was in the gym. There's a video circulating where he picked somebody's pocket and went crazy reverse layup. Doug played 16 minutes, Cart. He's like 5'8", 5'9", played 16 minutes, attempted 6 shots in 2-point range in 16 minutes. So to me, like that was a huge number. Like if Doug is able to create and score against pros at his height right now, I think Doug might be a guy. And maybe that's Kobe Buffkin insurance. If Kobe Buffkin is really nothing again, you can play Doug and Llewellyn together a little bit. Final note from me, Yusuf Kayet did not play in this game. Joey Baker did not play in this game. So they are missing 2 guys I think are actually going to be very critical pieces of this team. Terrence Williams played a bunch of minutes and was 2 for 9. This is probably the first of 30 times that'll happen this year. And nobody else on the bench really did anything important. Did I miss anybody? I missed Jet. Jet.
Oh yeah, Jet. Yeah.
The actor. First of all, Jet's hair has grown 6 sizes since the last time we saw him, which I love. He had 10 shot attempts. I believe he shot 4 for 10 from the field. And from one of our sources in the gym, they basically said it felt like it was a poor performance from Jet. You can tell how talented he is. I don't think anyone just reading the box score would say that's a poor performance. So that bodes well to me. It feels to me like the formula for this team is Llewellyn, Jet, and Dickinson, and everything else is a total unknown. I will now step back. And after taking all of that in, as the hype Michigan State fan that you are, what do you make of where this Michigan team is headed?
Can I ask one more question on this as well?
Sure.
Terrace Reed, is he going to be a factor this year, or is he like did he play? Like, is he going to be a rotational minute guy?
He played. He will be a rotation guy. He's going to be the pure backup 5. He will get all the backup 5 minutes. There will be no competition there. Dickinson, I mean, is Dickinson. Terrace Reed could be really good this year. And like Terrace is not going to steal minutes from Hunter Dickinson. I don't think they're ever going to try playing Terrace and Hunter together. I wouldn't be shocked because it's Juwan Howard and he's done that. He played Austin Davis and Hunter Dickinson together. But I think Juwan learned his lesson from Musa last year, where like he knows he needs more spacing at the 4 and Terrace isn't that guy. So he did, like, Terrace looked fine. There's nothing to like write about or acknowledge that he did great, but his box score numbers are fine. He had a couple blocks. He had a couple rebounds, and I think he had 1 or 2 buckets. So he'll be fine. I think he'll be a good, if not average, Big Ten backup big.
Okay. All right. There's a couple takeaways I want to do from this game. First off, first things first, you can call this the unbiased opinion, biased opinion, whatever. These foreign, like overseas games, I feel like as a college basketball fan or, got people, media members following the team, I tend on the side not to overreact. I think it's more of like, this is a summer league. This is a summer league game. And if the guy you want to do good is doing good, like you can use that to kind of add to your agenda. If they're not doing good, then you can kind of just file it under, okay, like this is the first game they're playing together, maybe depending on who's coming into the team, who's playing with the team. So, I don't take much of the wins and losses into, kind of into play when I'm kind of looking at these foreign games, especially with this game with Michigan, because like you stated, I think you might be even undersold it. Like this wasn't like actually like a really good top team in the top league in France. Like they are a good team.
Can we flip that now though?
Okay, go ahead.
3 days later, Loyola Chicago lost by single digits. Michigan lost.
That's because they're built different.
They are. I mean,
as a team.
we love Loyola.
And actually, that's a great segue into my next point before I get into the actual basketball point of this and personnel point. The fact that they're not posting highlights, the fact they're not posting things from the trip is actually asked. I want to send a shout out to Rambler's social media person. Everything from their trip has been fire.
Yeah.
Like elite videos, elite fits of them just going throughout France. Like everything about that trip is great. The videos are great. The highlights are great. Fans want to see that. I know Michigan fans want to see that. If Michigan State was on a foreign tour, I'd want them following the players around and want to see highlights too. So the fact that they're not doing that is ass from a fan standpoint. And I think it's just bad in general. Like, kids want to see that. Recruits want to be like part of that, see what that trip is like. I feel like that's a big factor that they're kind of dropping the ball on.
What do you have
now,
with your phone here? You're about to do some gimmick. What are you about?
No. Emails. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Wow. Am I that gimmicky?
I mean, you just had it here, and then you like sat forward in your seat, and I saw a little smirk. And you're like, now, like I thought I saw something coming.
No. Now I want to get to like the actual personnel kind of thing of it. My main takeaway from this is Hunter Dickinson can't have that type of performance. And here's where I'm coming from on it, and I want to know your thoughts. I feel like Hunter, him being a dickhead, and I mean dickhead in the best way possible. Like, that's the most endearing term to me, basketball-wise. I'm one of the biggest dickheads ever play in the state of Michigan, regardless of division level, whatever. I'm top 5. I'm in the Dickhead Hall of Fame. That's all great and well, but when you're the best player on the team and you're a guy who's a catalyst and needs to honestly carry this Michigan team, I think, to a certain extent with the personnel that you have, I just don't think you can kind of have these moments where you're nonchalant and you're just kind of taking things like, it's whatever. It's a foreign tour game. I don't really care about this. This is my 3rd year. Like, I don't really care about this. It'll be all good when the season comes. I'll get my stats. Do you feel like maturity wise, he needs to take a step and kind of step away from the whole, I don't know. I don't want to say villain, because I think you should embrace being a villain, but like, I don't know, the whole persona of him as a player and like how he shit talks and, not afraid to say what's on his mind, not afraid to say things to the media, not afraid to say things to the other team. Like, that's all great and well, but do you feel like a step needs to be taken kind of where he just, I don't know, steps back a little bit, or I don't know, matures to a certain extent?
I have an answer.
Okay.
I hope that happens individually. Do I think it needs to happen in order for Michigan to be a great team or Hunter to go where he wants to go? No, I do not. I think what Hunter needs to do is, if he's going to play this villain role and the all dickhead team, whatever you said, he just needs to show up and be the dickhead that is aggressive and goes for 40. Like, he can do that every single game. There's nothing stopping him from that. And he has shied away from that in some of the biggest games of his career, notably every Illinois game against Kofi Cockburn. And I mean, he did it with Marcus Bingham once last year, and then he came back and gave him 35 on his head the next game. So like, he needs to find consistency with that. I don't necessarily think it's a maturity thing. I personally would love it if he matured and cut the villain stuff, but I don't think that is a necessity. Also, while we say this, like, oh, he was disengaged, blah, blah, blah. He had 15 and 10 on 7 for 11 from the floor in 26 minutes. So like, I'm just reporting what the people who are in the gym said.
I heard he looked out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people who are in the gym who know basketball said, right? Is like, Hunter couldn't be bothered in this performance. He had 15 and 10.
I was told by Apple Care that Camp Sanderson was the absolute best conditioning program in the country.
Hey,
and you got your best player coming in out of shape.
Nah, Camp Sanderson's biggest proponent this year was Kobe Buffkin, and Kobe's getting great cardio in on the floor right now. I mean, Kobe, I've never seen a guy more suited to be a future track star than Kobe Buffkin. Speaking of Kobe, on a very real note, I'm very concerned about Kobe Buffkin. Last year, I was screaming everywhere at an annoying rate to everyone how much I wanted Kobe Buffkin to play and how much of a mistake it was that he wasn't.
Don't say free him. They'll come for you.
There's a very real possibility that Kobe Buffkin is a bad college basketball player. There just is.
That hurts me.
It hurts me too. And I hope it's not the case. But here's the simple fact. Last season, he was one of the worst players in the entire Big Ten. And it was a small role, so small sample size. I get it. But he shot 22% from 3 on pretty much wide open catch and shoot looks whenever he did shoot them. He was smoking layups in the NCAA tournament. Like, he had breakaway layups and was missing them. He's not someone that I feel comfortable at all just saying we need this guy to play 25 to 30 minutes. And that's what Michigan's offseason led to. Like, they didn't go get a transfer shooting guard. in my opinion, I wanted them to commit to Frankie Collins and go get a transfer shooting guard instead of this. So like, he's the only shooting guard on the team, which is why it's very important to me that Doug McDaniel is playable, because I think that answers a lot of your backcourt concerns. But still, he's going to need to play minutes just off how this roster is built alone. The question is it like 10 to 15 minutes or is it 30 minutes? And I'll say it right now. He can't be a 30-minute player. If Kobe Buffkin's a 30-minute player on this team, that bodes horribly. I mean, and I'm not trying to overreact from one box score, but like, I'm watching box scores the rest of this trip for Kobe Buffkin. And if he's still only attempting 3 shots a game and making one of them max, and I mean, why is Doug's minutes ahead of Kobe Buffkin right now on a trip where like Llewellyn and Dickinson played 26 minutes a game and Kobe got 14 minutes? Like, and that's a game without Yusuf Kaya and Joey Baker. I don't know, dude. Like, I'm red flag. Maybe Kobe's on the fringe of the other side of this rotation. And maybe I think Yusuf is a dude from everything I've seen. I think you could roll the ball out without Yusuf knowing any of Michigan's offensive concepts, and he'd be like their 3rd to 4th best player on the team right now. So like, there's a very real possibility it should just be like Llewellyn, Jet, Yusuf, Terrence Williams, and Dickinson. And that's your entire team. Joey Baker spot shooting. Jet Howard's like a 6'9" shooting guard. Like, that team would have size, they'd have length, they'd be good defensively. I think they'd have enough shooting. So I'm very much in the camp that like, let's monitor this Kobe Buffkin thing, because he might not play much, and that might be a good thing for Michigan.
Yeah, and I like the idea that you come with Jet at the 2 and Yusuf at the 3 over the idea of like Doug starting for this team and being the starter, because I don't think he's there yet. I'll be honest with you. I just don't. I don't see it. Like, I've heard great things about him this summer, and the steps he's made, and everyone's talked about how, the type of player he can be. Of course, he's always been underlooked because of his size, and played in a great high school league, and in the high school ranks, played in the best of the EYBL, went at the best of the EYBL. I get it, but at the end of the day, like, Doug he's tiny.
I'm going to clip this and tag Doug. I want Doug hearing this.
He's tiny.
Here's my thing
tiny.
about Doug.
Is he not tiny?
He's tiny, but like,
he's tiny.
Here's the thing about Doug. He's first of all, he's a
dog. He's a dog. He's a winner, but he's tiny.
I'll take dog, winner, tiny every day of the week. Like, to me, Doug, I'm more excited about Doug, and I get more excited every day, but I was already building to this. I said this like a month ago. I'm more excited for Doug than any Michigan point guard since Trey Burke. And I'm probably more excited about Doug going in than I was.
I think that says about what type of point guards or guards you guys are getting. That
had some good ones. I mean, Xavier Simpson had like an 80-point game in high school, and Derek Walton was a big kid from the state of Michigan who, I mean, was a very good player at Michigan. They've pulled in these big time transfers who have had success in various forms. Like, there have been dudes, although yes, you're right, they haven't gotten an elite point guard. But Doug's not an elite point guard, and he still stands out in a lot of ways because it's the whole package to me with Doug. Like, fearless is a word that comes to mind when you watch him. And like, we were talking to Davis Mosley, who again, like, he is in touch with the staff on a daily basis. He's covering the Collier recruitment really well. Like, he said Doug's a monster. Like, he's at Peach Jam and coaches are talking about Doug McDaniel from the year before as soon as he mentions Michigan. Like, the rumblings are that this kid just has something special to him. I think, like, we've heard he's a tenacious defender despite being 5'9". I don't think it's it's not a surprise to me, or it's not a coincidence that the one clip that has circulated from Michigan's game is Doug McDaniel stealing the ball from the other point guard and going coast to coast. Like, clips have not come out, but that came out for some reason. Like, again, the people that texted us about this that were in the gym, 2 different sources. And you would think like the first thing we see in the text is about Hunter Dickinson, or it's about Jet, or it's about Kobe. Like, the first shit was about Doug McDaniel in these texts. It was like, holy shit, Doug has some stuff to him. He goes for big plays. Like, I think this kid can be special. I'm hoping he forces his way onto the floor, because honestly, I still do have those concerns about Llewellyn. And it's great that he looked good in the first game. But like, if Llewellyn and Doug both are capable of doing some shit dynamically on the ball, but Llewellyn can slide into a role where he's hunting shots, 7, 8 threes a game from the 2. And Doug's just kind of getting to his spots, doing his thing, playing with swagger, being that boy. I'm all in. I need that. I need that so bad.
There's nothing that strikes less fearing to me than a 5'8" freshman who's tenacious on defense and can't shoot.
I give it. He can shoot is the thing. Like he absolutely can shoot.
He's a respectable shooter. I don't know.
He absolutely can shoot. He can hit pull-ups off the dribble.
It'll sound like Hiroshima in that gym.
You're very wrong. And I know you are very aware of backcourts that shots sound like Hiroshima, but like Doug McDaniel would probably be the second best shooter in the Michigan State backcourt right now.
Over who?
Not going to answer that question, but I stand by the statement.
Okay.
All right. Final thing on Michigan overseas. This is maybe the most important thing.
Motherfucker's got 5'7" AJ Hogard. I want to hate him on my point guard.
That's so disrespectful to Doug. Doug is so far ahead of anywhere that AJ Hogard will ever be. The most important thing. Can we lock in, please? This is a very important thing. I know you're going to like this. The last night, Michigan apparently hit a little evening boat tour in Paris under, the Eiffel Tower in the background, all that. They're just on like a little yachty type thing, little yacht, not little yachty. My bad.
I also
they're on a little yacht. I said yachty because I don't know if it was actually a yacht. It was a yachty type thing.
So you were on a little yacht.
Listen, the whole Michigan
with your little 2 guard.
Listen, the whole Michigan team was in their like basketball tracksuits, okay, and they're like posing for some team pictures. The arms around, trying to swag out and all that shit. Joey Baker was in a black crew neck T-shirt, holding a drink that appeared to be a 75% finished vodka orange juice. I have never been more in on Joey Baker ever. Like I have flipped the script. This dude is that guy. Like I love those vibes, that energy. He's just this veteran dude. He's here to have a good time. He's going to play his role. He's going to gun off the bench and he's going to gun off the court as well. I'm in.
Okay. I can see that coming from Joey Baker with a podcast, but no, I'm definitely in on those vibes with you. We need to get confirmation that was actually a vodka orange juice.
It has to have been. You think my man's just sipping on a straight orange juice at like 11 p.m. local time in Paris?
He is 25.
That would be more points toward the vodka orange juice.
That is true as well.
Yeah, you're in trouble. That's massive for if my role players are off mimosas in the evening in Paris. It bodes so well, Cart. By the way, I know I keep saying final thing. Yusuf Kayat is a legit 6'10". Just want to make that very clear. He's taller than Juwan Howard.
Everyone drop below in the comments. When's the last time y'all used a yo-yo? Everyone drop that in the comments.
Probably 3 years from now.
When's the last time you used a yo-yo?
Oh, I thought you meant the name yo-yo in Kayat.
No.
The last time I used a yo-yo, I think I was probably like 9. So 15. No, that's way more. 20 years ago.
Right. And you want to know why that is?
Why?
Because yo-yos stink.
This yo-yo does not stink. I like him. He's very good. I'm kidding, Art. Can you tell?
No. I mean that honestly, I was almost brought to tears on that video of Juwan getting excited, seeing this player that he recruited. Like that brought actual emotions churning inside of me. That was beautiful to see.
Are you serious?
Yeah, coach gets happy to see recruit. Never seen that one before.
Okay, all right. He met him.
Tearjerker.
He met him for the first time. He's got worldwide pull, international pull card. He can just phone up a kid and get him to come to Michigan. He doesn't need to meet him until 3 months later.
It works internationally because international kids don't know yet that Juwan doesn't develop talent, hasn't reached that side of the water.
All right. Okay, let's move to Isaiah Collier so you can get your Michigan slander off.
Speaking of not developing talent.
Are you going to blame Juwan Howard for not developing a player he's not going to get? Is that what
am I going to blame the so-called recruiting guru of the Big Ten this school with such great point guard history and such point guard play? and they can't get their guy.
What's their great point guard history?
They can't get their guy.
Just Trey Burke.
They can't get their guy.
They can't get their guy. They cannot.
That's crazy. That's crazy because there's a team in East Lansing who got their point guard.
Yeah, Michigan State got their guys.
I just don't see. I don't know. Like when you go after recruits, right? The main goal at the end of the day, everything is good and well. The main goal is to get that kid to come to your school. If they don't come to your school, you can mark that up as a failure. So by simple math in here, carry the 2, bring down the 1. I just don't know if this is the ideal situation that Michigan fans and Michigan teams want, because it seems like Isaiah Collier is going to be putting his name on a letter of intent to another school.
Yeah, it sounds that way. And I have a pit in my stomach. I'm going to have to deal with this for like a full year and a half. But it's fair. Michigan State had a great class for the first time in 4 years. Kudos. That happens occasionally. And Michigan State's good for 1 to 2 years after that happens. So that's big time. I know that's a change of pace for you. Michigan is still in the Isaiah Collier recruitment. We came on here like 3 weeks ago and we were all giddy saying they might speed up the timeline. We think they lead after the visit. All reports from everyone are that that's not the case. The timeline has not sped up at all, which, that was the biggest thing to me after the reports of the Michigan visit were like, if this timeline actually speeds up, they're going to get him. If it doesn't, that does not bode well. It didn't speed up. Look, they're still in it. They're still on the list. There are people saying like Cincy is the biggest threat now. Really? But some national people are stuck on it's one of the 2 California schools. And if I had to put my chip on one of them, I would definitely bet that. Like if I could bet that at a good number, I would bet that. I think he's going to USC or UCLA, but I lean USC. It's frustrating because like one, I do feel like we kind of misled people. Like I think we did the whole hype video and, we talked to a source who was the most plugged in person in that recruitment at the time. And I think he gave us honest information. It just turned out that didn't lead to what we sort of speculated it could lead to. But the bigger problem for me, which is fair to criticize, and you can laugh at this if you want, Michigan has only 4 active targets right now in this class of 2023. It's Isaiah Collier, it's Zayden High, it's Elmarko Jackson, Marlon Jackson's a relative. I forget if it's a son or nephew, and then Papa Conte. And they don't lead for any of those 4. Like I would put it below a 25% chance they get any of those 4 individually right now. So we've heard, Elmarko is like a no chance. There's 11 teams on his list, and he's pissed that Michigan didn't prioritize him early, which is a very fair thing to be pissed about, by the way. Like you've got family ties to the university. You kind of grew up a Michigan fan. It's at a position of need, and you've been a high profile recruit your entire high school career. And you're essentially told we're looking at other guards until the 11th hour. Like that would piss me off too. Zayden High, I think Michigan tried to swoop in and kind of factor in there, and I don't think they're going to. Papa Conte is the one. Papa Conte is the one Michigan fans seem to think they have the biggest chance in here. I don't think they have a chance at all. I think there are very real rumblings that Hunter Dickinson is going to return for his senior year. Papa Conte would be 3rd at best on the depth chart. Like, I don't think they're getting Papa Conte. I don't think they're getting any of these guys. I think Collier is the best one they have a chance with, honestly. And I don't know what Michigan does in that scenario, Clark, because if they don't get those 4, they don't have guys they're actively recruiting beyond that right now.
Yeah, not everyone can bring in 4-man classes. Some are built different. But that is concerning, though, for real, because even with Hunter Dickinson coming back, so looking at the Papa Conte situation, like, yeah, that sucks. You can't get him, but I feel like in the next cycle, you can get another player. But once again, if you're getting another year of Hunter Dickinson, you got to execute on that. And it would have been nice if you had a player like Collier to pair with a second-year Doug McDaniel, who I would have more faith in than freshman year coming in. Doug McDaniel.
Think he's going to grow a couple inches? Is that what?
No.
Faith is?
No. I think
he's still be. I mean, your biggest criticism is that he's tiny. He's still going to be tiny a year from now.
He'll grow mentally.
Oh, so he's a mental midget, is what you're saying.
No, and we don't use that word, by the way. The correct term, the correct PC term is little people.
So
I'll
he's a
have you
mental little
know.
person.
No, I wouldn't say that, but you learn a couple of things because it's a lot different in the Big Ten than wherever else he done played. I'm just letting that known. Like he'll get his shit sent into the Chrysler bleachers by
Will he?
by a lot of defenders
Will he?
in this league. Yes, he will.
Huh.
Promise
Okay.
you that.
All right. Good to know.
But maybe he'll learn. He'll learn. He'll learn that he can't do that. He'll learn ways to finish. You pick up on those things.
You are well familiar with guards who are mental little people in their first year in the Big Ten. Guard.
I am.
I don't know that there's a lot of Tyson Walker and Doug McDaniel mentally. We'll see.
Year two Tyson movie.
Oh, come on. You are really sipping the Kool-Aid if that's where we're going right now. Here's the only counterpoint to like doomsday. Michigan misses on all these targets. What happens? If Dickinson's back, Michigan could return 12 players from this team. And
Portal.
Well, I don't want to lean in the portal, but yeah, I mean, I think they literally could have everybody but Baker back. I mean, and look, like, who are the pros on this team? Like, I know we like the roster, but like Jet is probably the only.
Jet could be one and done.
I'm gonna lead this charge all year, and it's not because I'm biased. There's no way Jet's a one and done. There's no way. I think the entire Howard family. I think the entire Howard family is 2 and done.
Why not? He's McDonald's All-American.
He's not a one and done.
That's interesting. That you're already hoping for year 2 of Jet.
I mean, from
an elite child actor prospect.
The family needs zero financial help, and his brother has 2 years left, and I think his dad has 2 years left. So, like, why would they not go out together in a blaze of glory for Hunter Dickinson's final year, the same year they have 0 recruits? That's sort of where my head is at. I don't mean that to like speculate negatively that Juwan Howard's going to leave. I hope Juwan Howard stays a decade. But NBA jobs are going to keep calling. I truly believe deep down he wants to coach in the NBA, and he's here to get his kids through Michigan. To me, a 2-year plan makes a lot of sense there.
I'm going into my notes. I got a little maybe Substack article title cooked up. Juwan Howard holds own players and family back? ?
You ready for busty brackets now? Come on. What is that?
A little think piece coming out. Who knows? Click the next 9 slides to find out.
All right, you have 30 seconds left to get your slander off at Michigan. Go ahead.
Remember earlier?
I want to say real quick, I know you were terrified of Isaiah Collier and Hunter Dickinson together.
Oh, 100%.
For one season. Yeah.
100%. But like, I'm terrified of the boogeyman. He ain't real. Like sometimes shit doesn't happen like that. But just know there's a lot of laughter on my name. Everyone laughed at the chart with my madness going like this. And now there's 2 programs in the state that are trending in different directions, one going up and one going down. My program going up, Gregory's program going down. That's the nature of this podcast. I've been doing this for a couple of years. One program maybe is going up, one's going down. Maybe both are going up, maybe both are going down. But at the current state of these programs, my program is trending in the right direction. Gregory's program is trending in the wrong direction. I mean, maybe that's what he wants to do. Maybe he finds enjoyment in that. It doesn't sound that dope to me. I'm good where I'm at. Go green, go white.
You're good in your 7th to 8th place finish for your 3rd consecutive year, because let's not forget, Michigan is adamantly going to be the better team this year. The Michigan.
Are you a reader at all?
No, I'm not.
Are you like, okay, but
can I read? Yes.
Yeah, you can. Okay, I know you can read, but like if you're reading a book, let's say you're reading a book, are you going to constantly turn the pages back to look back at previous pages?
Oh, no, I'm looking at the page we're on right now, because you said that Michigan State's trending up and Michigan's trending down. But one of those 2 teams has a top 5 player in the country. One of those 2 teams has Hunter Dickinson. One of those 2 teams doesn't have 3 open scholarships for the upcoming season because our coach isn't lazy as fuck. And bottom line, like, I'll take my dudes this year. If you want to do this whole, look, 3 years from now, how good the trajectory.
It ain't 3 years. It ain't 3 years, baby. It's coming. It's coming quicker than you think.
What's this year? Then what's this year? Who's the better team this year?
I mean, shit. If you got Hunter Sausage Dickinson out there, I like my chances.
You like your chances against Hunter Dickinson?
Yeah, if he's chubby.
You're not familiar enough with Hunter Dickinson then. Fine. All right. Let it be known. Just be careful. Be careful crowning.
Austin Davis with a fade?
One of the things you and I are very adamant about is like, don't crown yourself too early, Cart. And
I'm not crowning myself. I'm noticing trends. I'm a trend noticer. I'm a trend setter and a trend noticer, and I'm noticing a trend.
I think this Michigan State team and their fan base is going to be a great case study for the "are you crowning yourself too early" concept.
Who crowned anybody?
You just said that Michigan State's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with crown. I'm just saying we're trending in the right direction.
I think there's a big crown going on. I think there's a big.
It's situations like this is why we get YouTube comments talking about, do these guys hate each other? Do these guys like each other?
I've been trying to think of an insult for your haircut for the last 15 minutes and I'm stuck. Honestly, that's a credit to you. Like, that's a good cut.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
By the end of this episode, I'll have something for you. All right.
Okay. That's cool.
Let's talk some Michigan State dude that you're all gassed up about. Jeremy Fears, who I love Jeremy Fears. I can't even come up with a joke about Jeremy Fears. He was going to play for Overtime Elite. Now he's not. What happened there?
He's going to play with his brother.
Where?
Joliet West, I believe it is.
Is that a new school for him, or is that the school he's been at?
No, he was at La Lumiere.
Yes, La Lumiere.
I always say Lumiere.
I know it's my favorite thing. It's so
La Lumiere, right?
La Lumiere.
Yeah, La Lu. Okay.
La Lu.
He's been playing at La Lu the past couple of years, but he's going to play with his brother at Joliet West.
Got it. Okay.
Which is in Illinois.
Did any of the Fears ever go to school at Joliet West, or is his brother freshman?
I want to say his brother's a freshman, or he might have been a sophomore. He might have been a freshman last year. I might have to double check my sources on that.
Okay. Yeah, look, we really like Collier. We really like Fears. We think he's going to be great.
Let it go, Greg.
I know. We really like Fears. We think he's going to be great. He's the catalyst for this great recruiting class, and he's honestly the catalyst for this whole momentum thing you're talking about with Michigan State. The Overtime Elite thing never made sense to me because I think I said it the day it was announced. Tom Izzo, like, for who Tom Izzo is, Tom Izzo has to hate Overtime Elite. There's nothing about Tom Izzo that would say he likes Overtime Elite. And everything we've heard is that Fears and Izzo are the best mental pairing for each other, player coach, that Izzo's ever had. So, like, and we know there's been great ones of that, Draymond and him, Mateen and him, before the legal issues, that is. But look, Jeremy Fears is a great player, and Overtime Elite never made sense to me. So what do you think happened here? Do you think that Tom Izzo sort of steered him away from this?
I don't think so. I literally just think it's a situation where he was just like, what's Overtime Elite? No, I'll just go play with my brother. Like, I feel like he just made like,
then why even announce Overtime Elite though?
Well, maybe at the time, like, there was other situations. Maybe they were trying to get his brother to get into Overtime Elite too. I don't know, like, what the cutoff is, like, because I know that Skyy Clark's younger brother actually is playing for Overtime Elite this year, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe they're trying to make it a brother thing, and maybe it didn't work out with Jeremiah, who's his younger brother, getting in. But by the way, if Joe Tipton listens to this episode, that whole announcement was kind of a dick move to me, because I consider ourselves friends, and you're dropping a Jeremy Fears like little blurb, and I immediately thought it was a decommitment blurb. So on his next road trip, hope he catches every single red light.
If you were a high school recruit with the opportunity to play at Overtime Elite, would you play in high school or would you play at Overtime Elite?
Overtime Elite.
Without question?
Yeah.
Like, no hesitation, you're out?
Yeah, I'm built different.
You weren't big man on campus, apparently?
I mean, like, do you enjoy Algebra 1? Like, is that dope to you?
You're not still doing anything to upgrade your mentals while you're at Overtime Elite?
No, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Anything else on Fears? Excitement level for Fears? Is that a 10 out of 10 for you?
Oh, yeah, it's still 10, but I'm a little less. I'm honestly, in the back of my head, and this can call me just being pessimistic, it scares me a little bit that he's going to be in the state of Illinois, in Brad's backyard.
Oh, Interesting. I thought you were just PTSD from your last quote unquote elite recruit from the state of Illinois who had a little brother that we were going to get to Michigan State too. That's a big thing I've seen with Michigan State lately.
Okay. No more comment on Lightning McQueen, Chase Audige, please.
How come baby Christie wasn't allowed to come to Michigan State, by the way?
Because he stinks.
I mean, you were all after him until Max Christie hit the floor in East Lansing.
All right. And then we knew that Cormac was better than his younger brother, and the older brother stinks, and he's better than the younger brother. Then the other brother stinks by association. And that's why he's going to Minnesota.
Think there's a chance he ever goes for like 20-7 in a big win at the barn for the Gophers against Michigan State?
He might do that in a win, but it ain't going to be against Michigan State.
All right. Okay. Another guy who once committed to Tom Izzo was Emoni Bates. And now Emoni Bates is headed to the Eastern Michigan Eagles, or so we thought. Maybe not. He reportedly has not enrolled. And Eastern Michigan put out a roster for next season, and Emoni Bates is not on it.
Classic.
Cart, we've done some digging on this. We can reveal that right off the top, or we can wait on that. But what do you think of Emoni Bates? Is he going to play at Eastern Michigan?
Yes. And if we had a betting sponsor right now, this would be a great time for an ad read. So we're still looking for a betting sponsor if y'all are out there. If I went to insert blank sportsbook here and could place a bet on this, I would bet a large sum of money that Emoni's going to play for Eastern Michigan. I think this is just like an Emoni Bates situation. Like, this is classic, like not enrolled yet, not on the roster, everyone freak out. Like, this is classic, just everything that surrounds Emoni Bates and follows him. But he will be there, and he will be suiting up for Eastern Michigan basketball next year. I will Carter guarantee that. Have I ever thrown out a Carter guarantee on this episode?
No, but I think
podcast?
It's so incredibly on brand that the first thing you want to guarantee is something related to Emoni Bates. Like, literally the diciest.
I love a good underdog story. We talked about this.
No, I know. I just like, of literally all things to guarantee, this is the diciest one ever, and you're ready to throw your whole name behind it. I love that. Yeah, no, the rumbling update from the national guys we got is that everyone still expects him fully to play at Eastern Michigan, and that it's just a logistical thing right now. The issue to me is that, why is there a logistical thing? Just enroll at the school. It's like his family is playing like NBA 2K My Player mode with Emoni's life, and just they've like automatically sim the whole season and put the preset on like worst decision possible, like highest difficulty level. Like all those little cut scenes when you got to like pick a button of what your player says, they just choose the worst one intentionally.
And like team chemistry down.
Yeah, everything down. They do that every single little decision possible. It's like you've already made it clear you're going to the MAC, which is crazy in the first place, but like, just go there now, figure it out. Like, why do we have to have drama about it? I don't understand. But yeah, I think if I had to lean one way right now, I would lean him going to Eastern Michigan. I would not be surprised if this blows up and doesn't happen. I wouldn't be surprised if he just never plays basketball again, Cart. I really wouldn't. Like, that'd be sad. But I mean, if he's not going to play at Eastern Michigan this year after announcing that he was, like, where does he go next? No one's going to take him if that happens.
Yeah, well, that's kind of one of the reasons why I think this is happening. Like, he has no other options at this point.
I don't know. This feels like the point of no return, and the fact that they're even flirting with no return to me could mean like bye-bye. We never hear from Emoni Bates again.
Also, this would be so on brand for like that camp in Emoni too. Like, and they have all these options. Choose an option. Maybe people think it's the wrong option. Maybe people think it's the right option. Either way, choose an option, and then they want to backtrack on the option.
Yeah, but if they backtrack from this, there's no other options. Is the thing, though. No other school is going to take him if they leave Eastern Michigan. So I don't know.
And wouldn't that be classic Bates camp?
It would be classic Bates camp. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. I kind of have a pit in my stomach, Cart, that 3 years from now, we're going to go to the Moneyball Pro-Am, and we're going to look at Emoni Bates playing in it the same way we look at like Trevor Manuel playing in it right now. Like,
that'd be sad.
Remember that recruit? He sure was something. Like, I could see that. Maybe he'll lead Moneyball in scoring for like the next 11 years. Could
watch.
Could probably get a bag from Moneyball.
Shout out Moneyball.
We'll see. All right. The final update of this episode for my daddy Brad listeners out there. So last episode we slandered Skyy Clark. Let's just call it what it is. Now, I do want to defend myself and us a little bit here. We are a comedic show. Anyone that watches us knows that. Our style is we very seriously analyze basketball and we talk about it, but we're fans and we enjoyed the fun side of personalities and we make fun of people. That's how it is. I don't think we do anything maliciously. I don't think we say anything on here with the intent to, slander anybody too hard unless they really do something horrible.
Except in regards to Court Matt Christie, everything I say about him, I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Again, this is a great example. Like, come on, that's very funny, right? Carter means that, but very funny. The point is, we may have stepped over the line a little bit with Skyy, and I don't feel great about that. But had we just put that episode out and people watched it like normal, wouldn't have thought twice about it at all. To be honest with you, would have just been like, that was a funny segment, whatever. Hopefully some people like it. I stand by where I was at mentally in that episode where I'm just like, it feels like he's kind of doing a lot because there were a lot of different vibes being thrown around there. We called it a vibe check and it was very much just like what's going on with these vibes. Now here's the development card. You ready for this? Skyy Clark slid in the DMs of me. Skyy Clark and I had a little conversation, Cart, and I want to make a couple things very clear. Look the camera right in the eyes. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Skyy Clark is my favorite player in the country after this development. And if you want to call that me being bought or me being wooed over, fine, that's fine. My respect for a player could not be higher, though. I mean, so he essentially slid in my DMs and typed a very long message out that was just like, hey, I don't normally respond to this stuff. It's criticism. Like, that's part of it. I know it, but I actually really like your guys' stuff. Like, I've seen you guys' videos pop up in my timeline before. I've watched them. I am a listener of your stuff and I want to set the record straight. And he went point by point through the 5 jokes that we made about him from that picture of him with Tobey Maguire and just gave me the context on why those things are. And it was like, hey, like my family has had a relationship with Toby since I was little. Like I get pedicures because my feet are beat up from hooping so much. Like this was a pedicure I had a while ago and the paint wore off. Like we were clowning him for having his toenails painted. And onward, like, even the stuff that I've said I love about his swag, like the baggy t-shirts and stuff. He's like, that's just my swag. That's who I am. So first of all, credit to Skyy, incredibly mature kid. And he, like, for I don't know how old he is, 18, 19-year-old kid entering college for the first time. Like, I just respect the hell out of you for like approaching it that way with someone. He could have just let it go and we would never have heard from him. That would have been fine. He could have gone on Twitter and been like, fuck these dudes. And that would have been fine. That would have been within his right to do. But I thought he approached that like an absolute rock star. So earned my respect there. And then 2, like, back on the flip side of the vibes conversation, which was the whole point. Like, I've been a fan of Skyy Clark because I love his vibes. His vibes are genuine. Like what we said last episode of like, this might be manufactured swag. It's not. His vibes are 100% genuine. That picture just threw me off the scent for a moment. I'm sorry that it did that. Never should have. He's still one of the swaggiest players in the country. So all in on Skyy Clark.
Oh, I'm all aboard too, especially because I'm always for the camp of never, ever, and I always stand by this. Never, ever let white people talk shit about you. All right. That's a stance I want to take. So always stick up for yourself. But no, I'm just bullshitting, Greg. But in all seriousness, though, I agree with the point about the maturity about it. He could have easily taken that the complete wrong way. I'm looking back to 18, 19-year-old Carter Elliott. If that somehow got said about me, God forbid, I'm letting you have it. Like, I'm letting you have it on Twitter, like to the point where the coaching staff will get on Twitter. Like, Carter, we're seeing your tweets. You need to kind of scale it back a little bit. Like, I would have let you have it big time. Both of us, big time jokes, all that would have hurt feelings and family members. So, like I said, very mature of him to do such.
Albion coaching staff wouldn't have liked it if Chia Pet Race Thompson was hitting the Twitter stream.
Hey, there was actually, this is a funny story, and we can wrap it up because I know we got to get out of here. But there was on the first week of practice. So this is after summer workouts, after fall workouts, after all that. Our coach brings up a bunch of tweets on the projector board, and there's about 30 tweets up there. And I bullshit you not, 25 of them were mine. And they didn't have the username on them, but I'm reading the tweets and I'm like, oh my God, like those are my tweets. And my Lord, were they out of pocket. And for some reason, I thought I was like, and a lot of it had to do with basketball too. Like I came home, I was like, damn, like I was like, I'm playing at Albion. Like my coach ain't gonna check my Twitter. I was like, man, coach on my ass today really had me running gassers because Tommy couldn't make a layup. Like I get it, but damn, I'm tired. LOL, hit me up, like something like that. Or like you think I'm sitting front row in a history class, like you got other things in order. There's 16 people in this class. I'm not sitting in the front row. I haven't sat in the front row since 2009. And all those tweets just got pulled up.
From everything I know about you, because I met you in this era, and I've seen
era.
Albion Twitter was an era. I met you in this era, and I've seen old tweets from Carter Elliott. I just think you got Twitter 5 years before anyone our age should have gotten Twitter. That was
100%, 1,000%.
Yeah. If you find your Twitter 5 years later, there are zero issues, but
right.
Kind of
I used to get thrown in Twitter jail. Those are for the OG Twitter users. Like that's special. I went to Twitter jail 4 times a week. That says everything you need to know.
You're different, right? We've said it all along. You're different. All right. And Skyy, I think we ended on a pretty good note with Skyy. We're going to try to hit Champaign once at least this year. And we'd love to see our Illinois faithful out there. But, Coleman Hawkins, want to get you back on here. He's been in the comments saying part 2. Open invite, Coleman. You got our numbers. Slide in. Let us know you want to come on. But we should meet up with Skyy if we go to Champaign. Is the point. I want to meet this dude in person and tell him how much I respect him after the way he handled that.
Agreed. Get him a Daddy Brad t-shirt.
And Daddy Brad t-shirts are available for anybody who wants them. Coming soon. Final question to end the episode, Cart. It's 2023. Who is the best point guard? Skyy Clark, Doug McDaniel, Jeremy Fierce.
Jeremy Fierce.
The answer is Skyy Clark, but Doug's close behind. Fierce.
In 2020, I don't think Skyy is going to be in college in 2024.
Oh, one and done? I'm talking year 2 Skyy versus year 1 of the other two.
Wait, 2024 isn't that
2023?
Oh, okay. Ooh. You know what? Actually, I'll say Skyy because I don't think that Jeremy. I think Jeremy's going to be I think he's going to be in the conversation with best point guards in Michigan State history by the time he leaves.
No, I agree. I mean, when he transfers to Ann Arbor for his junior year, he's going to have a chance to be Mount Rushmore. Him and Akins together after they don't get playing time.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean,
well, look, God knows you'll have open scholarships.
God knows you got to get AJ Hoggard and Tyson Walker their minutes.
You know what? That's just the basketball guys. Thank you, Lord and Savior of all basketball, Jesus Christ. Because you talk all that stuff about having open scholarships, you're gonna have plenty because you had 0 recruits in 2023.
They returned 12.
Imagine
guys.
having 0. You ever been on 24/7 Sports?
You ever been
on 24/7 Sports and you click on a class for recruiting? Imagine clicking on 2023 Michigan recruiting page and you get like one of those HTTP 405 errors because there are none.
They return 12 guys.
The web address won't exist.
It does. They return 12 guys.
Michigan insiders are going to have the easiest 2023. They don't even got to put a crystal ball in. There's no one to put one in on.
Okay, can we make a bet? I know we make a lot of bets, but this one is a real one that I'm going to put in my lifelong bets notepad. Can we make a bet? Michigan will have more players on scholarship in 2023 than Michigan State will. I will bet anything that happens.
What happens if they have the same amount?
It's a wash.
I'll take that bet.
Okay. Your Michigan State will lose players to transfer and will not replace them and go into a season with like 10 or 11. And Michigan will go into a season with 12 returnees plus 1 portal guy. Guaranteed.
Right. Yep. I'll take that bet.
Okay. $5,000?
No.
All right. We'll settle up offline. Cart, this was fun. I missed you, my friend. Missed getting on this podcast forum with you. I think we're probably just going to keep doing these starting fives leading up to the regular season. Some news on some football content that could be coming from Sleepers as college football opens up. Some more betting stuff that you'll see us frequently on Twitter. So follow us at Sleepers Media. Follow us at GWizzy12, at Carter Elliott __, which there's 2 underscores because it's still 2 seasons away from Michigan State from going 500 in conference play again. So we will see you next week.
Good one.